Superman Legacy is in pre-production. The news was confirmed by James Gunn himself on social media. If you are a Man of Steel fan, then I am sure this news does not come as much of a surprise. The last few years have not been easy for those who are fans of the superhero. We have not seen an independent Man of Steel movie in over 10 years. In fact, in the last 35 years, there have only been 2 standalone live-action movies. This is a crazy number if you consider that Superman is supposed to be spearheading the DC universe. Now, to be fair, it is not like we did not have any Man of Steel content at all. We got to see him in a Superman vs. Batman movie as well as twice in the Justice League. Once in the 2017 version and once in the 2021 extended version. However, this does still lag far behind some other heroes in the same universe. Over the years, previous leadership at Warner Bros. Has made it clear that they consider Batman to be the superhero to take the DCU forward. In terms of box office numbers, he is the undisputed king. As a result, we have seen The Dark Knight in 8 standalone movies over the last 30 years. This is 4 times higher than his counterpart and Justice League partner, Superman. However, with James Gunn now in charge of DC, the hope is that Superman will become a more respected superhero. The fact that the all-new DCU is starting off with Superman is definitely a good start. However, it is worth pointing out the previous DCU also started with a Man of Steel movie. We all know how that turned out for the former actor who played him. However, in the spirit of not being overly negative, we will look ahead and hope that the new leadership can bring about change. This brings us to the news that James Gunn shared with everyone. Superman Legacy is in post-production. Gunn took to social media to announce that they have started putting things in place in order to roll full steam ahead with the movie. Gunn also shared a picture of the script, indicating that he was fully done with the story. Furthermore, we have also now received some detail about the director of the movie. At first, it was thought that the new CEO would only be writing the script. Once done, he will hire a director to bring the story to life. However, Gunn's co-CEO Peter Safran made it clear that James himself was the first choice director. This means that James Gunn will be fully in charge of the project. As CEO of DC, he will oversee everything. Then, he is fully in charge of the script as the head writer. Now, it is revealed that he is also the director. For most, this news likely does not come as much of a surprise. Gunn was offered to direct the second Man of Steel movie all the way back in 2015. However, he originally rejected the offer because he did not want to do sequels. He was then hired again in 2022 to write and direct a new Superman movie. This happened before he was considered for the CEO position. When he was appointed to his new role at DC, Gunn was already busy for 6 months with the new story. With pre-production underway, Gunn will have free range to drive the story forward. With Superman Legacy in post-production, James Gunn made it clear that he is not doing everything alone. When you work for a large studio like Marvel or DC, typically scripts get a lot of input from others. This is to ensure that there is one clear vision. They are building a whole universe after all. This means that movies need to speak to one another. For the new DC, there will be no exception to this. Writing notes for this Superman Legacy movie is a bit more complicated though. You are not only making notes to the director, you are also making notes to your boss and the CEO of the studio. There is a power dynamic there that might be complicated to navigate. James Gunn, however, does insist that this will not be an issue for him at all. When asked by a fan if he would be open to taking notes from others, he stated that he would put his ego aside and accept input. On Twitter, he said, "This process has worked for me because I have been blessed in the partners I've chosen to work with. We are all moving towards one thing, making the movie better, and I can put my ego aside and be open when I need to be and convincing when I need to be. I know this is not the case for everyone. Again, I'm blessed in this way. But that's how notes work, and I'm not going to suddenly stop taking them because I'm the head of a studio." When it comes to who the next Superman is going to be, well, that question is a bit more complicated to answer. James Gunn made it very clear that no casting would be done until the script was finished. Well, the script is now finished. This means that we will in all likelihood get an announcement soon. There is a very high chance that the audition process has already concluded or is close to concluding. By this point, the studio probably already knows who they want to cast. I would not be surprised if they were down to their final 2 or final 3 choices by this point. Over the last couple of months, there have been quite a few names thrown into the mix. At this point, it is all just speculation, and it is likely that none of the fan favorites will be cast. David Corenswit is a name that has been linked to the project for quite some time now. Although still relatively unknown to most, he did make it clear that he is interested in the part. Another name that has been linked to the project is Jace Norman, although I find it very unlikely that he will get the part. For those who do not know, he played Henry Danger on Nickelodeon. At 22 years old, I think he is simply too young. Jacob Elordi is the one that most fans seem to agree is the right choice. He starred in a few Netflix movies but really became a fan favorite after his performance in Euphoria. Again, I would like to point out, these are just fan favorites. It is highly likely that none of them will be cast. Overall, it is going to be interesting to see how all of this is going to play out. Right now, James Gunn and DC are rolling full steam ahead on their way to a Superman Legacy 2025 release. I should of course point out that movies get delayed all the time. Let's hope that we do not have to wait until after the intended release date to see this movie. It is going to also be interesting to see what the fan reaction is going to be. Most fans were extremely upset over the news of Henry Cavill's departure. Many vowed that they will never watch another Superman movie ever again. Memories of fans are notoriously short though. There is a strong chance that most would have forgotten all about Henry Cavill by the time Superman Legacy releases. In all honesty, that is the way that it should be. No one actor is bigger than the superhero. Over the years we will see many actors come and go. Some will do the superhero justice and others will fail in their attempts. Ultimately, all we can do as fans is hope for the best.